welcome to the Voice of the Coast. I am your host, Danika Foley-Long, and with me we have Tammie Moore, who wears so many hats nowadays. You just added the hat of Interim School Board member. Congratulations to you.
Thank you so much.
And when I say hats, that means you're going to stay pretty busy. So how are you able to maintain being the campus director at SLCC at both campuses, one in Franklin and one in Morgan City, as well as hold the title of Interim School Board member?
So actually we've had a change in that. I'm no longer interim in Franklin. We have a replacement.
Okay.
Mr. Langston Falk is the campus director at the Franklin and St. Martinville campuses. And so that does help. That does take a little bit of, off of my plate so that I don't have to be in both places. But when I say strategic with the scheduling, and I am just so thankful for electronic calendars, access to being able to merge your calendar from work to your phone is a lifesaver. Notifications electronically 1 day before, 15 minutes before has been my saving grace. And that's basically how I'm managing.
That's like the snooze button for me. That 15 minutes, 15 minutes, that's the last, I gotta go now. It's time to go.
Exactly.
So now that you're the interim school board member, first and foremost, I just want to say, again, condolences to the Lockett family, because you are replacing Sylvia Lockett, who passed away recently. And you are now in that position. How does it make you feel? Do you feel like you're ready to take on that responsibility?
Yes, I actually do. My history for all of my years, basically, of professional training and working has been in education. I have some history. I was a 4-year K-12 educator, so I have that background. I have kids who are in public school. I went through public school through the St. Mary Parish School system as well, and the rest of my history is in higher education, but we still have worked closely with all of the schools in the parish, K through 12. So it has been, I feel like it's been preparing me for this, because I do have a passion for people in education and a desire to serve. So.
And speaking of which, did you have a desire to serve at one time? Was this something that you saw on a bucket list?
It was not.
Okay.
It was not. It was something that, that was brought to my attention, and I was like, I am really passionate about the things, the mandates, and the things that concern our children in the education system. So, it just was like, okay, well, this is another way that I can serve and give back and help to advocate for the people and the students of St. Mary Parish in the education arena.
Now, I don't know if I'm the first person in media, I'm going to say I think I am, to ask you this question. Are you planning to run? And is it allowed?
It is allowed. I have done some research, and it is allowed. And yes, I am planning to run. I will have to qualify in January for the March election. So, I'll be preparing for that in the near future. But I do look forward to it.
And when I say it is allowed, meaning also is it allowed for interim board members to take on a more permanent role, but also with your position as the campus director working for South Louisiana Community College?
Yes, so we have had to do the research on all of that. In some cases, in some elected positions, if you are appointed as interim, you can't run, but in this position, it's allowed. Okay. And as far as my employment, we've done all the extensive research on that as well, processed all of the paperwork, and it is allowed as well.
Okay. All right, we'll leave it there, because now you have some work to do. You'll have to campaign if you have any other opponents to come up. So that's all on you. We'll check back with that, obviously, when election season comes up. Have you been approached by members in the community so far? I mean, yesterday was really just your formal introduction. You were appointed to the seat. Have people just been ringing your phones and coming up to you, let me left and right? I'm just curious, has that happened to you yet?
I actually have. I've received a few calls, just people inquiring about different things, like with their kids. Questions in reference to like truant kids. What do you do in those cases? What are the next steps? Who do they reach out to? What's the process? So I've had to make some calls to get those answers to give to those individuals, because some of it I was not aware of. You know, you may know a little bit, but you're not really sure, and you want to make sure you're giving out accurate information. So I've had a few calls, and I was able to give them the information they were requesting.
Okay, awesome. Well, we definitely want to delve a little bit further into your first order of business. We'll talk about that when we get back. You guys come on back right here on the Voice of the Coast with yours truly. Welcome back to the Voice of the Coast. Again, I am your host, Danika Foley-Long, and with me we have Tammie Moore, who is the SLCC Campus Director right here in Morgan City, and now she's the Interim School Board member, replacing Sylvia Lockett. And I wanted to ask you about being approached. You said so far people have come up to you. Are you feeling maybe a little overwhelmed, or are you comfortable in the situation, especially having to do a lot of that research?
I'll say that I'm comfortable. I'm one to want to know and be in the know, and I'm one for policy. I want to know what the policies and procedures are. So I do feel comfortable, you know, reaching out to find out what those answers are. And I just want to know, because I'm assuming if one family member or somebody has some questions about some information, then it's probably going to come up again. Yeah. So it's, you know, it's beneficial to me and the people that we serve to be able to have accurate answers to give. So I'm not overwhelmed just yet.
Okay, cool.
Not yet.
So what's the first order of business that you're working on?
So the first order of business that's going to be a big topic of discussion is the redistricting. We have just recently received all of the updated information and stats from the census. And of course, St. Mary Parish has been impacted by the number of people who have left the parish.
Yes.
So what that means for the districts is we will have to do some adjusting. So that's like one of the first major things that's, you know, in the order of business to come. Yeah. So we're looking forward to that. We're going to make the best of it, and you know, we want to be fair and just across the board. Yeah. So, but that's one of the main things that's on the list of things to do. Yeah.
Now that's obviously on the list already.
Yes.
What is something that's a passion to you?
I'm passionate about people getting what they deserve as far as a free, appropriate public education. Being, again, a parent of the public school system and being a former educator in that same system, there are some concerns that I've had over the years that I look forward to addressing. Just such as, you know, what are, you know, like curriculum concerns. Mm-hmm. And that seems to be a concern that a lot of people have and are often frustrated with, like, how often does it change? Yeah. Why did we change it? If it's working, like, why go and break it or change it if it's working? Yeah. So those are some of the things that are at the top of my list of concerns. And, you know, just making sure we have highly qualified teachers and people want to come and teach, and they're not just doing it because it's the job that's available. Right. So when you aren't passionate about something and it's just a job, it's hard for you to give it your all and focus and just be your best self at doing that.
Love it.
So
yeah,
those are some of my concerns.
I actually believe that as well, and I will say this much, and this is just my opinion, because we've had such a shift in population and teachers are retiring or leaving for other parishes. It's unfortunate that a lot of our programs, instrumental programs, I believe, are being cut. And some of those programs are often like music, band, and the arts, definitely. Yes. And I think when I was in school, it would have been nice to see that there were other programs offered, because when we grow up as kids, we think doctor, lawyer, the same things you hear over and over again, but it's good to, you know, you would love to see more programs offered that give them an idea of the real world, other programs that are out there. And speaking of which, let's switch hats to now, campus director of SLCC. Have there been new programs that are implemented on your campus that might be able to cross into secondary education?
So yes, we have, actually we have some ongoing programs, which were pilot programs that are going to be continuing, and those students who have participated, the results are going to be amazing. They're going to graduate with a high school diploma and either a technical diploma or an associate's degree. So, for example, we have information technology and industrial marine electronics and welding all on the campus at SLCC. That's dual enrolling high school students.
Okay, we're going to talk more about that because we've had this conversation prior. So come on back right here on the Voice of the Coast. We're going to delve deeper into that topic. Welcome back to the Voice of the Coast. Again, I'm your host, Danika Foley Long. With me, we have Tammie Moore, and we're talking about this pilot program that has been offered to high school students. And I want to kind of talk about the conversation we've had in the past where we say these kids, they get out of school, high school that is, and they want to start making $30, $40 an hour. They don't realize that you know, it takes some steps before you get there. You got to crawl before you walk.
Yes.
But baby, these kids are coming out the womb walking.
Yes.
Go with that analogy, right? So the pilot program is a industrial
marine electronics.
Right. So when they get out of high school, they'll get this degree before they get their high school degree.
Exactly. So the current group that's going through the program, and we have a group that's in industrial marine electronics, information technology, and welding are the three programs they're primarily participating in. But we have been so excited over the last couple of weeks. We have had more employers, especially from the oil and gas industry, that's been calling and asking if they can come and speak to the students and talk about the job opportunities they have available. And the students are so excited because they are offering the $27 to $30 an hour opportunities for them. So they have just been really, really excited about it. The industrial marine electronics group, they will graduate. They're going to complete in December. So they will be December graduates with a technical diploma. They have made the commitment to continue for an additional semester and earn their associate's degree. So these students are actually going to graduate in May with an associate's degree and a high school diploma. And again, we have the employers that are waiting for them to exit because they're offering them $27 to $30 an hour. And we even had the guys that were there last week tell them if they were to get an additional license, like if they get their FCC licensure, they'll pay them $40 an hour.
Come on.
So they have like the parents. I did get some parents they were calling because they're excited, like, oh my God, is this true? Like, what do we need to do? So it's opening up avenues for them, and they're setting the bar for the other kids that are coming behind them to see that these are opportunities for them that they can take advantage of.
And these are opportunities at home.
These
right?
are local.
So you don't have to leave.
Yes,
so
these
that's
are
good.
local opportunities.
Come on. Also, the notion that we've been hearing, especially with this whole pandemic, no one wants to work. Everyone wants to, quit their jobs, or they're saying or complaining there are no jobs, but there are jobs out there, especially if you go through the program at SLCC.
Yes, so there are jobs. So one thing that people typically forget about the community and technical college system, we can only offer training and programs in jobs that are high wage, high demand. And so if we're offering training in it, they're hiring in it. So, it's just exciting to see that the phone calls are picking up. People are calling and inquiring about coming to school. The foot traffic on campus has been increasing. And we have seen where the students are actually being more engaged, which is exciting for us as well, because what data tells us is that when students are engaged and participating in activities on campus, then they are more likely to stay and complete the programs and be successful. So, just seeing those students on campus interacting with one another and at those events, it's been exciting for us.
I definitely want to give the information out to folks. If you're interested so far, it's piqued your interest, give them a call. You can call Carla. She is the intake specialist for the
corporate college.
Program. And the number is 985-380-2958. 380-2958. Now, for just to call for any questions, you can call 380-2957 if you have any questions.
And her name is Carrie.
Okay, awesome.
Yes.
So it looked like you guys are doing pretty good. I mean, it's starting to come alive. Campus is looking like pre-COVID.
Yes.
So that's good. And we'll come back, and I do want to ask you now about some other programs. I learned this term, WIOA. That's
Yes.
something. We'll talk about that when we come back. So come on back right here on the Voice of the Coast. Welcome back to the Voice of the Coast. We're going to continue this conversation with Tammie Moore, who is the SLCC Campus Director here in Morgan City, the Young Memorial Campus, as well as the Interim School Board member, replacing Sylvia Lockett. But let's talk more about your position as Campus Director. And we talked about WIOA.
Yes.
I had to get used to saying that because it was a little tongue twisting for me. But you work with the youth at one time during the summertime, offering them positions. And I think any company could have gotten involved with that. But
Yes.
I know SLCC was a part of it, where you offered high school students to come in and work and and get a wage for a couple of hours a day, right? So that has since ended. It was a summer program.
Yes.
But also there was a program offered for dislocated workers, especially from the hurricane.
Yes.
Displaced workers. So
So-
how's that? Is that still going on?
That is still going on. We actually have a participant on our campus right now, and the way that program has worked is if the participants are from the areas that were affected by the hurricane and dislocated, like for instance, we have people who are living still in hotels here in the Morgan City area, and they need employment because a lot of their homes were destroyed and a lot of their places of employment were destroyed. So they have allocated some funding so that those people can find jobs here in the area where they're currently living while they're dislocated. So we have some participants again, and it has been a very good program. They're able to, do work-ready skills. They're able to work in an area, and build their skill set so that when they do transition back, they can be a little bit more employable or have more skills in order to be, earn a sustainable wage.
Right. Now there are some things. This is good, the bad, and the ugly. So there is a program on your campus that's kind of hurting, and it's really, I think, one of the more important programs that we need in this community, and that's nursing. I mean, what's going on with that?
So we have for a while been, actually since the summer, been trying to offer a CNA program, and we cannot get instructors. We need a program coordinator and an instructor. The nursing board does have a few restrictions on what are, qualifiers that's been a hindrance. And it's a component where they have to have so many hours in a nursing home setting. So to find qualified people to meet those requirements, it's been a challenge. So if you know of anyone who is interested in teaching the Certified Nursing Assistant program or being a coordinator for it, we will welcome any applicants. Mr. Anthony Bayham is the contact on that, but they can also call Ms. Carla, who will put them in touch with him at the 985-380-2958 number, because that is a program that feeds directly into our practical nursing program, and it prepares people to enter the workforce. We have had multiple calls from, our industry partners in the healthcare industry, and we just can't provide the nursing assistants. That's a program that does have a high turnover rate, so we have always had waiting lists up to 150 to 200 people at a time waiting to get into the program. So it is really, 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 it's hurting us in the fact that we can't find people to come and teach in that area. So
Is it open to anyone who may be retired from nursing?
yeah, as long as they meet the requirements of the college and the nursing board, they can come in and work. So again, like that program feeds into the practical nursing program, which is starting in January. So we have the class. Those students are getting notified within the next few days or so as to whether they have made it into as a selected
And did you guys
participant.
have graduation last year? Did you have a graduation?
We did
You
have a
Was
graduation.
it still the drive-by, or did you
Nope.
actually have it in person?
We actually had an in-person graduation.
Okay.
In May. It was at the Cajun Dome. It was amazing. The students were able to social distance. All of their family members could come because we had enough space for everyone. It was a beautiful ceremony, and the plan is to continue that same type of ceremony this December.
You got about 10, 15 seconds. CDL program, that's
Yes.
up and coming?
We have CDL still. We take 5 students at a time. We have had people calling and on the list, but then when we call them, like the call back to show up, it's been a challenge getting them on the phone. So CDL is still a job area that's looking for people, and we're training.
All right, 380-2957. See you guys next time. Take care.